We're now joined by Professor Samson Mampwelu, who is the South African National Energy Development Institute energy expert. Prof. Mampwelu, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate you joining us. The risk that the minister spoke there about, is it a calculated risk? I mean, pursuing such an aggressive maintenance program, taking offline 7,500 megawatts, giving very little headroom for the other power plants that are currently online. And I said that it puts pressure on them, perhaps overloading them. The minister says that might not be the most accurate choice of words there, but the risk remains nonetheless. Is that a sound practice and approach by Eskom at the moment?
Good evening to you and the viewers. Yeah, so that risk was a calculated one. The challenge was that there were other factors that came into play, which Eskom did not foresee. The 7,500 megawatts that was out for maintenance, it's a regular and practice that Eskom normally do, especially when they prepare for the hard winter months ahead. I've been tracking the power system for quite a long time, working on also closely with Eskom colleagues. They, at the time where they had very high maintenance that they were doing, there was enough generation capacity because we normally track it based on the peak evening demand, which is the highest demand that you normally have during the day. So the peak, Eskom had enough generation capacity to cover for the peak demand until they started experiencing the challenges that they've alluded to. So that the risk at the point where the practice was started was very low, and it was in line with best practice all over the world. Let me just give you this quick example. The minister made reference to philosophy maintenance. Now, if your car is due for service and then you don't take it to service, and then you just continue running it because you still need a car, and then it continues running, it gets to a level where things that are supposed to have been replaced during that particular service start to affect other things. So in the long run, it doesn't help you. And that was one of the reasons why we had this intensive load shedding in the past in South Africa as well.
Let's take a look at the last 7 days with peak demand being at 7 p.m. Friday evening. It reached about 25,000 megawatts peak demand. It's estimated, and if you look at the Eskom dashboards for the next 30 days, that peak demand should be trickling upwards, hovering to around 27 to 28,000 megawatts peak demand, which will be at around 5 to 7 p.m. every evening, every weekday evening at least, for the next 30 days, averaging out on demand at 22,000 megawatts over the next 30 days. Are you worried that Eskom might not, 22,800 rather, are you worried that Eskom might have to take some of the plant maintenance projects on pause, bring back some of those units to be able to meet at least just the next 30 days of increased demand?
So if Eskom solves Majuba, Camden, and Medupi, these trips that they experienced, they should be sitting at about 27 to 28,000 megawatts. Of available generation capacity. That's excluding your peaking power stations, the diesel power station, and the pump storage. On the pump storage only, you're looking at about 2,700 megawatts. Now, we also have had some rains in the past. That basically meant that people with small-scale embedded generations, rooftop solar PV, they were not helping Eskom in terms of taking down the demand. We expect that that will change slightly. So you will have an additional plus or minus 5,000 megawatts in reserves that will be available if Majuba, Camden, and Medupi are solved, and if the current situation is negated by the solving of those particular 3 power stations. So I'm not worried unless something drastic happens that not even Eskom has detected in the past. You'll recall that if you look at their summer outlook. They did not foresee some of these things. But I must say that the challenges that led to stage 6 load shedding are very much light challenges that they can solve within 7 to 10 days, as opposed to the challenges that we experienced in the past, because these are not challenges in the main plant. These are challenges in the auxiliary side of things. When you have serious challenges in the main plant, that's when now some of us start to get worried. We have challenges of environmental compliance and these stripping things, kind of things, which they can solve within few days.
Yeah, 6,000 megawatts of generation capacity has to be restored. Of course, 3,200 of that having already been restored. Prof. Mampeli, thank you so much for your time and your insights. Really do appreciate it. Prof. Mampeli is with the South Africa National Energy Development Institute.